Just look at me. Don't worry about the camera. Okay. So what are you going to talk about today, Etowaen? Just give your name first and where you come from, and maybe who was your instructor, and then you go from there. Or who was your tutor, sorry.
Okay, before I proceed on to what I want to say, firstly, my name is Etowaen. I'm one of the first graduates from Gawa sector, Gwirot in Daga cluster. So before sharing experience on how I went through the program, I could start it from the educational process that I've gone through. So when going through the educational process, I went to school when I was 10 years old. I went to attend a community school at Bonara. At that time, they were selecting students at grade 6. So I completed my grade 6 in 1998. In 1998, and they selected few people to go for Linem and Dogura, and others were selected to go for top-ups at Etowaen and other schools within the province. So I was called as one of the loose fruit in the educational process. They said failures in education. So I have the intended in heart that I have the heart for education, that I should do something within my life. Though I was not selected for top-ups, but I intended to go to extend my education. So I went to Etowaen with some of my friends. We went up there, and there were some vacant areas which they selected students, and these students had not attempted to attend this primary school. They had their own intention to attend other primary schools outside. So when I went in, the principal accepted me to occupy one of these places. So when I went there, I did my 2 years in the top-ups at Etowaen, and I was selected to go for Linem. And then I completed 2 years down at Linem Dogura. So from completing 10 solid years, I was also called as a failure in education, so I had to come back to the village again. By the heart I have is I had to do something in my life and help parents that who have supported me in education, so I had to do something in service of what I have the love for them. So when coming back from 10 solid years, I could not do something. So that was the time when the 5-year plans began. It started in 2001. So I had to enter into the sequence of courses. When I went through the sequence of courses, maybe I found areas where to serve as student class teacher for the last 5 years, which was from 2001 to 2006. And then from the next 5 years, within these 10 years of 5-year plan, I serve as tutor and a children class teacher. Coming through the educational process in the root sequence, there's the PSA program established in 2007, which was brought into Daga, which the first people or instructors were selected to go up to Aloto. I was one of the instructors that was selected to go up. I came back, I facilitated 2 books, but I found challenges within my own life that I could not take this opportunity. Maybe it was possible for me to take it, but I felt that it was something challenging. So I had to make a decision whether to leave the program. But through the continuous encouragement of beloved Councillor Gerald Mills and the beloved instructor, which is Mr. Berin Barnabas, I had to go back and become student again. So in my heart, I felt that, like what I've said in the beginning, I had to do something for the community, but we know that the world is not perfect due to some circumstances. I had to make decisions on the way again. But through the continuous encouragement of counselor and the beloved instructor, I had to go back and become student again. So when going through the program, becoming a student and going back to be, student again, it was not an easy thing that I should go through. I had gone through, I mean. So when going through, I found many challenges that maybe made me to make up decisions on the way and leave the program and go. But this was one of the things that I had to have in mind and go through the program until they make such decision that this program is completed. So when going through, like meeting with such friends like this, one of my motives was that I had to do something for that community in service to humanity. That was one of my motives. So I had to do whatever circumstances I find, but I still have to move. And this is one of the thinking that I have. How many years had gone past and how many years are left before me? That was one of the things that I have in my heart. So when going through coherently with the program and the training institute, within the 4 years of the program, when the program established in Daga, I was elected to one of the assembly members, and within these 4 years I served as secretary. I served as secretary, and I also became a children class coordinator for the sector, to see the sector, how well the sector is facilitating or running all these children class, updating all the children, and trying to get refresher courses and accompaniment with children class teachers. So that was one of the services that I found that I could do it. Those some circumstances may try to interfere me, but I had to proceed on to the educational process. Till I went on. That's it all about some of the services there that I did coherence with the training institute and the program itself. And coming back within the program itself, I found many challenges, which the lesson took us from known to unknown lessons. Known to unknown lessons, which we gave headaches to our instructors too. Though, like some of the instructors said that dealing with young people at a peer group is not an easy thing. We made them to lose their bright colors. Maybe they want to give up, and we want to give up too, but as we know that in the Baha'i perspective, we work this educational process of reciprocal process of learning. So we work together. So I could not say much the programmers I confidently talk that programmers helped me a lot in many areas, in both dimensions. Let me say, in the other way, I fell into the field of service, which I took children classes or other focal activities. But in the other way, I did not do much on the practical part. But I'm thinking that if I go, I will apply what I've learned in the program in line with the assistant or close accompaniment of the students and the tutors themselves. I may still come back to the tutors and get assistance. So in the program, one of the practices that I tried out, the enrollment within the sector that it took was only one LSA was involved in the program, which other LSAs, they came in, they found challenges, and they left the program again. But the LSA itself, where the PSA established, is continue to now. Only 5 students. So we continue to the end. So I tried my best, like serving on the secretary, and I had just before graduation, I had to visit neighboring LSAs, doing all the practice activities, visiting treasurers of women, youths, and LSAs. That was one of my intentions. So my daddy lives in the other different LSA, but I was adopted in another LSA, brought up in another LSA too. I had to think of my dad, where he lived. So I had to go back and assist this LSA again. So I went visiting LSA Treasure's women youth and trying to accompany canteen owners in the unit print addition and subtraction and the principles of accounting. And one of the practices that I went to this LSA, where my parents live, is I went on the making awareness on the environmental issue and digging pits to deposit non-biodegradable things. That was one of the practice that I did. And one of the practice that I do on the units that I've gone through is to describe the word nurturing young minds. That's one of the book that I go through with the children when I'm taking children class on the age of 3 to 4 years old. So we are many teachers in the within the community, so we have to divide children according to their age grouping. So I'm taking children they are from age of 2 to 4. So we just make them to talk and play around and try to go out and mention nature, so they get used to it. And when they move up to age 5 and move up to where they go for classes, they will be confident to talk. So we are just training them how to talk or get experience or get a system of children classes. That's one of the practices that I do. Okay, that's a practice, but going through the program itself, I found I could not say much on other texts that I've gone through, but one of the challenges that I found on one text is transition and dawn of civilization, transition to agriculture, which also made me to feel that I thought like when going through 10 solid years in the formal education, I came back after school. I felt that I was educated, but instead when I came back home, I felt that I was a useless person. So this book really helped me to reflect back from the educational process that I came through. So even simple vocabularies, which we thought that we were smart in answering these questions, but when we went through the corrections with the beloved instructors, we found that all our vocabularies were wrong. And then I thought back, what if this was in the formal education, if a teacher could put an X on my book and should not tell me what the word was in the book. But the Baha'i world is trying to build a process that everybody can advance together. So this program is a program that I could confidently say that the PSA program is answering the real heart of education, which it's helping individuals to advance on an equal path where nobody will be left out, incoherent with the sequence of courses or the Baha'i program as a whole. So I hope that this program and the institute process or training process will help me to serve as a community, like promoters of a community well-being in any area is service to humanity.
Thank you very much, Etowaen.